Episode titled Mystery TV Show. It was a quiet evening. Everything in the Pig family house was calm. Mummy Pig made tea, Daddy Pig sat on the sofa, Peppa sat beside him, and George held his dinosaur. In the living room, they turned on the television because Mr. Potato's show was about to begin. Peppa smiled. George said, "Dinosaur?" On the screen, Mr. Potato was talking and waving his hand as usual. At first, everything seemed normal. Mr. Potato jumped, laughed, and showed colorful pictures. But after a few minutes, Peppa noticed that he started speaking more slowly. His smile stayed the same, but his eyes no longer looked at the studio. They seemed to look directly into the living room. Peppa moved a little farther from the television. Mummy Pig said it was probably just a new part of the show. Mr. Potato took one step closer, then another. His face filled almost the whole screen. He stopped laughing. Daddy Pig tried to change the channel, but the button did nothing. Mr. Potato raised his hand and quietly knocked on the glass. The sound was dull and heavy, as if someone was really inside the television. Peppa froze. Mr. Potato knocked again. Then he said, "Peppa, can you hear me?" The room became very quiet. Mummy Pig turned the television off, but the screen did not go black. It only became darker, and Mr. Potato's face stayed there. He moved even closer and whispered, "Open it!" Daddy Pig unplugged the television. It kept working. George hid his dinosaur behind his back. Peppa wanted to move away, but she heard another knock. A thin crack of light appeared on the glass. Mr. Potato pressed his hand against the screen from the inside. His fingers seemed to push the surface outward. "Peppa, come closer," he said. His voice no longer sounded cheerful. It was flat and distant. Peppa shook her head. Then Mr. Potato smiled wider. "You always watch my show. Now I want to watch you." The screen became dark and reflected the living room. But in the reflection, another Peppa was sitting on the sofa. She stared at the real Peppa without blinking. Mummy Pig took Peppa's hand. Daddy Pig covered the television with a blanket. The knocking stopped. For a few seconds, everything was calm. Then something moved softly under the blanket. Peppa heard a muffled voice. "I am still here." Daddy Pig carried the television into the storage room and closed the door. At night, Peppa woke up. The house was dark. From the living room came the quiet sound of the show. Peppa carefully went downstairs. The television was back in its place. It was turned on. The screen showed the empty studio of Mr. Potato's show. But Mr. Potato himself was not there. Peppa stepped back. Then a soft knock came from behind her. She turned toward the living room window. In the glass reflection stood Mr. Potato. He was no longer inside the television. He was behind Peppa, slowly raising his hand as if he wanted to knock again.